G'day folks, welcome back to another episode of Euro Mining News with your host John Franco. Today we've got a bit of news out of the ASX to kick off with in the uranium space. ASX listed Aura Energy. These guys have got a market cap of just over 100 mil Aussie, and they've basically just gone shaking the tin for some money and got the go-ahead for a $16.2 million placement from institutional and sophisticated investors. Now, all that means is basically it's mainly institutional investors with a bit of retail in there. Now, this is mainly to fund their Tiris uranium project in Mauritania in West Africa, where they own 85%, Aura Energy owns 85%, and the government owns the other 15%. The grades they have there, so they basically released an announcement last week with an update of some good drill hits out there. Company went into a trading halt on the Friday and then came out of it today with the news about their $16 million placement. But basically, the news that they announced last week was some good uranium hits. However, just as a something to be aware of here is you always have to look at the jurisdiction that the ore body's sitting in. So really good grades in a country that's got civil war doesn't mean anywhere near as much as lower grades in Australia or Sweden or the US. So basically, apart from that though, they've had some hits of about 4.8 meters at 1,170 ppm uranium, or 0.12%. For those who aren't aware of the uranium market, another rule of thumb from me is basically anything that's above 700 ppm, 750 ppm. If you're getting hits above there and they're wide, you're in the economic field. Basically, you can start calling that ore in the mining stage. So these guys are getting just shy of 1200 ppm, so it's well and truly within the economic category. Now, their share price has been absolutely battered today by 23%, but that is obviously as a result of this placement. So basically, it's now set a new low of 17 cents. So if I just pull up the share price here, last week, this is where they announced that they'd had some good hits, went into a share halt for a little bit, and today they've had a drop of about 23%. Because of that dilution associated with raising the money. Now, on top of that, the company will be opening a share purchasing plan to existing shareholders for 2 mil. And in this, the managing director, Andrew Grove, will be taking part and putting about $100,000 of his own skin in the game. Now, attached to this is a ton of options, 68 million to be precise, at an exercise price of 30 cents and they're eligible for 2 years. Now, just something to always be aware of with options is that they can dilute the share price in the long run. So it is something to be aware of, and they can limit that upwards trajectory somewhat. So there's a lot of them that are going to be outstanding now. So basically how this relates back to the Swedish Hagen project is these funds that have been raised by the institutional investment will be put straight into the Tiris Mauritania project to do a feed, or what's called a feasibility study. And if it ends up being economic, final investment decision is later this year. They will kick that thing into action in 2026. Now, by that time, the company is hoping that the Swedish government has overturned its ban on uranium mining in Sweden, and it will be able to then redivert that cash flow from its Tiris project into Hagen, and basically the mine life just increases substantially, and it jumps from one country to the other. And that's all out of Aura, basically. Yeah, so company's got the skin in the game. Now, next up, we're onto the gold. So, Northgold. These guys are NASDAQ first growth market listed. About 50 million Swedish krona market cap, which corresponds to around 8 mil Aussie. So, junior, basically. If I pull up the mineral resource here. So these guys originally granted a lease package over their Happavesa 8 in central Finland that cover approximately 15 kilometres of strike across a regional shear at the Kimala Trend gold project. This was appealed by a third party, tried to block it. But the Finnish courts have now ruled in favour of Northgold and have allowed them to take control of that tenement package to do with as they please. Now, Happavesi 8 stands as the 8th active exploration gold licence for Northgold. And they've basically said that this thing is extremely important for Northgold and could well become a cornerstone asset for the company due to its high grade potential. Now, the tenement package currently has a JORC compliant resource of 147, so just shy of 150,000 ounces of gold at 1.2 grams per tonne. I wouldn't call that specifically higher grade, but I think what he's referring to there is this historic, which is non-compliant resource estimate, which is sitting at 2.5 grams per tonne. Lower ounce potential, but a bit of cream to add on to it if this historic resource does play out to be real. Now, the reason they're saying this is so important is because their flagship project, which is the COPSA, it's got a JORC compliant measured and indicated and inferred of 20 million tonnes at around about 0.87 grams per tonne. So it's a substantially lower grade. And as we all know, grade is king. So although they've got kind of 585,000 ounces at this thing, it's lower grade. So they're hoping that this COPSA project can produce the tonnes, heaps of grade, the tonnes basically, and this Kimala Trend can produce a bit higher grade to feed into it and boost it up. So the company's still going to focus on its COPSA asset number one, but it's basically got more room to play with throughout Finland now. Now, in other news, the European Green Metals last week have come out and have said that they're going to change their name to European Green Transition. They have also announced that they're going to try float on the London Stock Exchange under this new name. Now, the reason these guys are important is they've got a big rare earth elements project in Ulsarum, which is in southeast Sweden and is right near Ragnar's tenement package. So it'll be very interesting to follow them and see where they go. And finally, we go over to Euro Battery Minerals. These guys are Nordic Growth Market listed as the BAT and also on the Börse Stuttgart. And basically what these guys have said is that they've got some good results on the bedrock conditions of the copper, cobalt, nickel mine there. Now, this research was basically standard procedure for the environmental permitting process. And all they're saying is that they're making sure that this shear zone that the ore body's hosted on, that mine water can't get in and out along this shear zone easily and basically go out into the environment. So they did an analysis, made sure there was no other major shear zones there, and also made sure that the shear zone that is hosting the gold follows the geology of the bedrock. So it can't escape too easily. So basically, they said that the bedrock conditions are favourable for mining operations. Good news for them. That's all for today, folks, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Just a disclaimer again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a geo, and I'm giving you some of my own personal opinions. If there's anything that you'd like me to cover, please feel free to comment. And if you've got any feedback, I'm also all ears, very keen to hear that. So until next time, folks.